personally have lived with mental health issues in my family. Both my parents have pretty severe mental health issues. My mother's spawns from a childhood of abuse. And as a teenager, she got involved in drugs, trying to kind of self-medicate and different things. She had a very troubled life before she met my dad. So my entire childhood was riddled with things we didn't understand, because back then you didn't talk about those things. You know, there's such a stigma again with mental health issues, but then also abuse, she was so worried about that, if people would judge. And so because of that, it was our little tiny bubble of our secrets.
At the end of her mom's life, Sarah loved her and was honoring of her. And I know that her mom was better for it. So many of us, if we had gone through that same set of circumstances in childhood, we would not have that type of relationship. So Sarah was able to not only forgive, but redeem, and then be a loving force in her mom's life till her mom passed away.
It was personal for her. And when you look at the stats across Oklahoma related to substance use, mental health, and just access to resources and services, it was personal. And she wanted to use her platform, her ability to lead, to really promote, regardless of where you are on the political spectrum. How do we get people the help they need? How do we begin to increase access? What does that look like for Oklahoma?
And I'd had several people say, have you thought about your platform? In the back of my mind, I thought, I really want to talk about mental health, because that's what I was living right then. I think I was still in the campaign. Kevin wasn't inaugurated yet or elected. And my mom took me over to the side and she said, I have an idea. I know what your platform should be. And I said, really, what is it, Mom? And she said, I think it should be mental health. And it was just, to me, kind of just solidifying in my heart what I really felt. And it was kind of her approval that you can do this.
And what's really exciting was, in the meantime, we were both given a book called Hope Rising. So Sarah was given a book, Hope Rising. She was reading it. I was given a book, Hope Rising, and I was reading it. And we were all excited about it, but not talking to each other about it. So one day I get a call to come down to Oklahoma City and sit with her. She's like, I know what my platform is. And okay. And so she says, I want it to be Hope Science. And she pulls that book out. And I was like, I love it. And I'm on for it. Hope Science is so portable and teachable and easy to understand. And Sarah knew that if we could just get it into the hearts and minds of different Oklahomans, we could begin to have more hope-centered schools, more hope-centered medical facilities, more hope-centered child welfare agencies. And through her work, we are doing just that. And what's happening is we're training young children and adults on how to set a goal, find a pathway to that goal, and then how to walk out that path that you set before you, and how to ask for help in any of those areas that you need it.
So the first time that I ever met First Lady Stitt was probably back in 2018, 2019. And it was just when we were starting to talk about the science of hope, really what we wanted to do with it at the Department of Human Services, and how we really wanted to infuse that into everything that we did at our work at DHS. She put her stake in the ground and said, I want to be a hope-centered state. And so we really began to plan on how we could do that for all the different organizations that really touch children and families. And I believe that she uses hope to help individuals understand that are going through healing, to use the science that, hey, I did this today, so that means tomorrow I can do this.
That's Hope Science. It's so simple. And we've learned, and Sarah knows, that if a person can be more hopeful, can understand that basic science, they will do better with their own achievements.
My goal is to use my story and to really focus on this to equip our communities with the support systems we need for our school systems, the faculty that recognizes this, and then also the families, and really focus on children and adolescent, because then 10 years down the road, those children will be the working class of Oklahoma and the next adults, and they will be healthier and better for it.
And when she gets up there and takes the microphone and begins to tell her story, her authenticity and her vulnerability creates an energy in the room, and everyone is leaning in.
She uses the science, and she was using the science even whenever she was a child or an adolescent. She was coming up with pathways. She had willpower. She had goals. And so she was able to really take that framework, even though she didn't know what that framework was at the time, but to really move her life forward to reach the goals that she had. And now, again, I go back to she's able to use that in every platform that she's in around this framework and really promote the work. Looking back at that story and how she came forward with that really impacted the way I did my work, the way I looked at my work at DHS every single day, around how it is generational and how do we begin to break those cycles. But it's also allowed me the opportunity to look inside and how some of my, traumas have impacted me and how I raise my children.
She, in my eyes, is a beacon of hope for what's possible for all of us with the science of hope. Sarah knows the power of sharing her story. And what I love about her sharing it is there's nobody in the room when she's done that could possibly feel that their story is too bad or too sad, that their life couldn't get better.